4Z. Well, I know you can't see me, but it's time for the next one. What's up, everyone? Today we're going to pick up a new project car in this beautiful winter wonderland we have received overnight. Going up all above Detroit, about probably a roughly 10-hour trip. Killer deal up there on a twin turbo swapped NA chassis that has a lot of goodies and a lot of things I think that can benefit either our vehicle or the drift car. It has some good upgrades. So right now, just coming out here, starting the truck, got the trailer over here, and go to the bank, grab some money, and we're gonna start this trek. So now it's time for us to officially start on this car. I really haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. It's got a lot going on. The PTU and stuff is all wired very oddly. I'm not sure if that's just because this is this could be just slightly different here from the Infiniti J30, which is what this engine is from. But first and foremost, what we're going to do, we're going to remove this here front mount, and we're doing that because it's not practical for the flow of the engine to get the air to the radiator, etc. So we're going to take it off, sell it, recoup a bit of money, and we'll kind of get this back to factory, even though that's not really the right word. It's got blow off valves. We'll probably sell those too because we don't need blow offs. We'll just use recircs. I do have another set, but other than that, radiator fluid is very nasty. Got this overflow added here. Looks like the brake master's been redone. The weird thing that I found on here, if you look down there, you can see maybe there's no water lines at all, like turbo water lines. Same here, just an oil, no turbo lines. So that's very strange. Car's got a boost controller, a Greddy Profect 2 maybe. Obviously got our huge almost slicks, but not exactly. We've got the Profect B-Spec 2 manual climate pod, as this has been converted, being a 1990 car. Yeah, also has a chipped and tuned ECU. So we'll probably just be pulling all this out, figuring out what everything is. It's got 1000cc injectors. That's kind of like the good thing about it. So I don't know if these will stay in here, or we may just use our 750s that we have. I absolutely don't understand sometimes. Please, whatever you do, do not use RTV here, please. What the heck? Stuff is everywhere. Anyways, we've got our intake system off. Intercooler is off, it's sitting over there. I cannot make this up. So it is flooding a cylinder, pinched O-ring, etc. Thought I seen some fuel down here in this cylinder. When I go to take the fuel rail off, this is what I am greeted with. It's got this completely annihilated lower O-ring, and it is totally RTV'd to crap. So that's probably safe to say why that was having the issue it was. However, due to all the other circumstances here, I think I'm way more comfortable pulling this all apart, retiming it with a new kit, redoing all seals, just doing what I usually do, because this looks pretty old and crusty. Plus there's just a lot of other little things that, like siliconing all the intake mating surfaces together. That's gonna be fun to clean up. But yeah, all PCV hoses were open, vented to the air. As you can see here, these two were literally just pointed up like this with the plenum on. So, and not only that, the PCV valves here are just there with nothing hooked up, so that bypass was not working in any way, shape, or form. But now we've got about everything up here done. We just have to remove the accordion hoses, our power steering lines, and our engine mount nuts. We also have our engine harness that's up here. Other than that, we're ready to get the wheels switched on this thing, because I'm not sure how jacking the car up with these tires on is going to do. As in room, like getting it high enough for me to get blocks under it. So yeah, I don't know, we may keep going, or we may wait till we can actually get this thing pulled around to have something done with it. We've got our slicks taken off. Starting to look like a rather normal car, except for the insane amount of belt that's showing through the tire. Not by my choice, but just something to roll around the yard. So now we've got our plenum back on for now, so we can tighten our intake bolts. These here, and then we can lift the engine out by this. Now that I look at everything, part of me is wanting to just pull this trans and engine together, because it's not like I have to keep anything pretty here. Like, the whole radiator support's bashed up here, it's cracked at the seam seal. I mean, up here's a little dented. I mean, it's nothing like too crazy. The firewall looks like it's pretty beat up. Other than that, yeah, it's kind of, oh, yeah, now that I look, radiator support here is pretty beat and mangled. So, I don't know. We'll see how we're feeling. I kind of just may want to get it out quick. So we didn't exactly get too much done yesterday, but we did have Colton, my buddy Colton, come over and help us push it over here. We got it lifted up. Now I'm about to get under it, remove the exhaust, test pipes, starter, and see what I can do about starting to get the transmission bell housing unbolted and get this removed. We will disconnect our power steering here, which I don't suspect it to have any fluid whatsoever. And time to pull it out. Got or had something up here. What's new? So we'll get to pulling the clutch flywheel off of this and put it up on the stand so we can slowly chip away at it and pull it apart, fix a couple things, reseal about everything and kind of see what the turbos are and what we got going on here, so we know kind of what we are working with and maybe what direction we should go about building it. We've got her up here. What we've done so far is we have pulled the turbo and downpipe off of each side. And turns out they are JM turbos. I don't know, we'll post it up and see. But now we're probably just going to continue to strip this down, get the intake off. I think this engine will be getting, say, redone. Sorry, didn't mean to flash it. We'll be getting redone, so to speak, to go into my car. So since I just removed one, well, man, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the car, or not the car, we're going to take the engine out of my drift car and we're going to put it in this car and maybe just have a manual car and maybe repaint it. If not, just sell it as is. I don't know, I really haven't thought about it, but I do have another motor I could throw in it. We have got to removing our wiring harness and our lower intake piping under the headlights, as we're going to be going back to the stock ones, so we'll run recirc valves instead of the blow-off valves that were on here. I pulled these brackets out, clean behind them, as you can tell how messy it is, which I need to do over here as well. I'm going to get some of my piping in here. I noticed I need to repair this on the factory harness. And I see my vent tube for the fuel tank has been cut. A little worse for wear back here on the master cylinder. I think we do have a newer brake master, so hopefully it's not auto store. Other than that, I think we found a good donor harness over here, except I believe this to be an automatic. I looked online and I think that the only difference is like the for the shifter stuff with the auto shifter would be the third plug, which would be mounted up here, that is not here. So I think we'll be alright with it. It does have a couple connectors that need to be redone, so I'm cool with doing them. A lot of them are good, so gonna upgrade to our newer style injector connectors anyways. So we just took these blow-off valves off of my slick top, so I could throw here on my drift car. So in return, I can take the blow-off valves and hoses off of there, which are right here, and use them on this. Got my power steering silicone lines done. I've got these cleaned out. These are flex fuel hoses, so we're all good there. Now we need wiring harness brackets, at least what we can scavenge, and to get the rest of this intercooler piping set up. Got a couple here, a couple back there, and pretty much get the intake side of this. GoPro is all weird. Get the intake side of this all taken care of, so then we can really just get to dropping the motor in and more or less have everything ready. Which I think all I need to do to the motors, I need to reseal or seal the coolant pipes on the front, as I took them off for the black car. We've got a little bit done out here. We've got our just stock side mounts on the front for now. Still haven't managed to find any harness brackets except one that I'll be using. So I think, other than us sitting here waiting, what, another 45 minutes or so to torque our coolant pipes down, this will be ready to drop in the car. We've got our AUS 750 cc's and CZP adapter kit in. We've also got some EGR block off plates. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab a lower or upper intake gasket, I should say. And we're gonna get this plenums on there, torqued down, and all of our PCV hooked up. Well, on my part, you can probably see here just a little bit. There's no way that connector is gonna go on without shaving the plenum. But of course it happens. I realized right as I'm torquing it down. Yeah, we'll just get to that tomorrow. It's time to eat. So we've got our plenum shaved now. We've got our pressure plate, our flywheel, and we're going to get to installing this. After that, I think everything should be ready to drop, except I'm going to change out the engine mounts for a good set of OEM ones that I have instead of solids. Just can't guarantee whoever buys this is going to want to be as race car like. Well, we got her dropped in. Now what we're going to do, we got this pulled forward so we don't crunch our harness yet, so we can get it placed where we want it. We'll be fixing the harness here shortly. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But now we're just going to push it out, maybe get the trans in it if the ground's not too wet. So we've been chugging away. As you can see, it's pretty dark out now. So far we've got our trans in. All the bell housing bolts are tightened. I've got the shifter hooked up. I've got the wiring hooked up on the trans, engine mounts tightened. Trans mount is tightened as well. Slave cylinders on. Now we've got a drive shaft to install. Other than that, the only thing we have on the bottom left to do is the exhaust. So that's really no big deal. We'll get to that accordingly. I don't know on hand of any exhaust that I actually have that's suitable for this. It just means I'll have to get back to taking the pipes off my other car to use on here. Drive shaft is now installed. I think we're going to call it quits for tonight. It's really starting to pick up on this here rain or drizzle, so time to eat. I don't know, but we'll see you tomorrow. I've gotten a little busy getting the radiator in, piping hooked up and tighten our boost pipes. And I just got heater core hoses on back here, some new silicone ones. Now what we have to do, really the biggest thing that we need to get done, I forgot to mention, we did do the power steering and our alternator to trans harness, PTU, CAS, and all that. Still need to get a TPS off of another plenum or out of one of my boxes. So now we're going to get to wiring. I've counted there's 6 injector plugs, which all need to be converted to new style anyways, and 2 coil pack plugs. We officially got our harness repaired. We've got our idle air control pipe on, brake booster hose, throttle cable. So I think still I need to do my overflow. I'll do that when I go to fill up the radiator. But as for now, I just need my vacuum line to here. All I've got to do is really those couple things: wire the boost controller, put exhaust on it. I also need to plug a computer in, which I'm probably going to take the computer out of this, throw in here, so we can try to go for a first start, see if everything's working well. I lied, we're not firing it up today. Reason being is I'm having TPS issues. I didn't have one on it, and I don't have a way to set it right now because I've lost my alligator clips. I'm going to test it with voltage this next time instead of using resistance. So yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. We've got our good chip and ECU in, and now we're getting power. Let's see what she does. Not going to fully crank, just going to see the fuel pump primes. So with the key on in the car, we have used a key ring to put into the white terminal here to read our voltage on TPS so we can set it. I believe it's supposed to be at 0.3 to 0.44, and it was really like on it for me just randomly setting it when I threw it on. But we're just going to slowly tighten this bolt, get it snug down so it doesn't change, and we will go for a first start finally. Alright, here goes nothing. I just heard the fuel pump kick on. I don't know. I guess there's no better way to find out than to try, right? Now we've put a good battery in. That was. If it was idle hunting or if it's just surging. But as you can see, no keys in the ignition. The lock doesn't work. They just fall out every time. Got some test pipes with cats on it, but it's still super loud. Got it lifted. We'll see about getting it up to temp and idle. But I do need to go get some gas for it as well. Especially if the gauge is actually reading correctly, because it's showing E, unless I need some gas in my car. But then again, after I bleed this out a bit, I'll probably just move it and leave it there, since I'm having to swap my ECU to use my other car for the time being. Here goes our first drive, even though we're just driving it around here, up there, back here to park and leave. so far it drives pretty good. First things first, only thing left I need to do is fill up the power steering fluid. Obviously I had no power steering there. Need some gas. Need to figure out, maybe replace the rear wheel hub if I can find one. I may have one spare, but yeah, I don't know. If not, then I'm stuck with buying wheel studs, and I've got to replace, say, probably the majority on both sides. And yeah, I think we're gonna list the radials that were on it, because I've really got no use for them. I'm not gonna have a good suspension setup to really be able to even handle anything like that for a while. But other than that, yeah, it's just more so finding a front bash bar. So I think I've got one somewhere to put in the front. Fog lights. A bumper is a big thing if I want to use that other bumper or situate something else. You know, can't drive a car without a computer. Anyways, if you guys like this video, drop a like below, and also if you guys want to stay tuned for the next video, don't forget to drop subscribe down below, and we'll catch you then. See ya.